House in South Bend, Indiana, to serve people in need of housing, hospitality, meals, showers, clothes, and laundry services. And I was sent, it's interesting, our paths continue to overlap because I was sent to Notre Dame to get a master's degree also over the course of several summers when Aimee was there. And so I saw her work that she did at the Catholic Worker House, and it's amazing. It was here that she met her husband, Colin, who also came there to volunteer. And as Aimee said, she met him because she bossed him around in their kitchen as they were cooking dinner for residents at the Catholic Worker House. Aimee and Colin were married at Camp Marymount and moved back to Nashville in 2014 to be closer to family and to work at Catholic Charities. Aimee currently works with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops as a consultant to their Department of Justice, Peace, and Human Development, and serves as a spiritual director through Dove House Ministries in Nashville. 4 years ago, Aimee and Colin welcomed newborn twins, Amit and Zoe, into their life through the gift of adoption, and then 2 years later, welcomed a biological son, Jonah. All three miracles with a lot of energy. They attend St. Anne Catholic Church, where Colin serves as a deacon, and where they say you can hear their kids calling out for him on the altar most Sundays at the 8:30 a.m. Mass. So please join me in welcoming Mrs. Aimee Shelide Mayer.
Good morning, everyone. It is just really fun to be here. I spent many hours on this stage as a student at St. Cecilia. And my time here, I'm continuing to draw forth great memories and treasures of learning from my time at St. Cecilia. I'm especially excited to talk to you today about authentic friendship, what it means to find true friends that can last a lifetime. How do you find them? How do you maintain them in a way that is life-giving and nourishing? So I thought we would begin by just grounding ourselves in Scripture. One of my best childhood friends, Katie, sent me a letter in high school that quoted this chapter from the book of Sirach. And in Sirach chapter 6, we hear, "Faithful friends are a sturdy shelter. Whoever finds one finds a treasure. Faithful friends are beyond price. No amount can balance their worth. Faithful friends are a life-saving medicine. Those who fear God will find them. Those who fear the Lord enjoy stable friendship, for as they are, so will their neighbors be." And just to ground you all in reality, here's some pictures of me and my St. Cecilia friends at graduation day back in 2002, out on the front patio here at St. Cecilia. And many of these friends in this picture are friends that I'm still in touch with. In fact, we're in a book club together that meets monthly at different people's houses here in Nashville. This was a picture over a Christmas break in college when we were all home right before graduation. So we really were intentional about trying to get together back when we were in town. We enjoyed coming back to the St. Cecilia Alumni Luncheon every year, and this was at, I believe, our 15-year high school reunion, which kind of surprised us all that time goes by that fast. Sitting on our swing that we gave as a class to St. Cecilia. I hope the swing is still around somewhere, so when you sit on it, you can think of the class of 2002. And this was at our party later that night to celebrate our 15-year reunion. And then this was just last year at our class of 2002 20-year reunion. And so my hope and prayer for you all going forth today is that you will be inspired to look for meaningful, life-giving friendships and to not settle for friendships that are not life-giving and don't call out your best self. So in order to put us in a good context for what those friendships could look like, I thought we'd have a little story time. And you all might be maybe rolling your eyes like, okay, we're in junior high school, why are you reading to us? But this book, The Rabbit Listened, has anyone heard of it or read it? Okay, some people have. When I first read this to my twins, who are 4 now, I was like in tears as I was reading it to them at bedtime. And of course I'm like trying to hide it because I don't want them to be like, "Mommy, why are you crying?" But it was just the sweetest story to me of what authentic friendship looks like. So I'm going to read it to you, and I'm also going to have the slides showing you the pictures, because I know unless you have like superhero vision, you might not be able to see the pages. So this is The Rabbit Listened by Corey Delfield. All right, and I'll read it as it goes along. One day, Taylor decided to build something new. Something special. Something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, oh no, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Talk, talk, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. But Taylor didn't feel like talking. So the chicken left. Next came the bear. I can relate. Grah, rah, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Grah, rah, rah, grah. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Chomp-da, I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena, hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, oh, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, tisk, tisk, what a mess, let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left. Until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered. And laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." My book ends there. There we go. So one of the reasons I absolutely love this book is because each of those animals in the book that wanted to get angry, that wanted to throw it away, that wanted to perhaps just remember and dwell on what happened and talk about it over and over and over again. And I'm sure each of you have friends in your life, too, that are each of those animals. And how we respond to something that is sad and horrible can look different. And that's okay. But our invitation as sincere friends is to be that rabbit that just draws near, that doesn't try to act or change things in the moment, but can listen. And what I love, when I zoomed out from that Bible reference that I started with, it reminded me of the rabbit listened. We hear before Sirach 14, the verses, let your acquaintances be many, but one in 1,000 your confidant. When you gain a friend, first trust him and test him, but be not too ready to trust him. For one sort of a friend is a friend when it suits him, but he will not be with you in a time of distress. Another is a friend who becomes an enemy and tells of the quarrel to your shame. Another is a friend, a boon companion who will not be with you when sorrow comes. When things go well, he is your other self and lords it over your servants. But if you are brought low, he turns against you and avoids meeting you. So it's a warning. It's a warning about friendship that may not be true. And what the reality in life is that no matter our situation right now, you might feel like you have all the friends in the world who understand you. You may have family who support you. You will at some point, if you have not yet, felt loneliness. And my model of faith, servant of God, Dorothy Day, who co-founded the Catholic Worker, which was what Sister Anna Laura references as welcomes in people off the streets, she wrote at the end of her now self-titled kind of autobiography that we have all known the long loneliness, and we've learned that the only solution is love, and that love comes in community. So we have to surround ourselves with other people for that solution, that healing of loneliness that will come our way throughout our life. I had some hard years in my 20s after college, and I desperately I felt called to marriage, and I just couldn't find person that God was calling me to be with. But then when I was actually with Colin, getting married, and all my St. Cecilia girls could be there with me at Camp Marymount at the wedding and the celebration, they were the same friends that had been with me throughout the years and all of the struggles that we had had and the losses and the loneliness together. It was this beautiful moment of celebration and healing. And we've continued to be able to be with each other through both the hard moments and then the really fun and silly moments. They're good friends. They let me tell them how to pose for pictures and be goofy. My husband and I really struggled to have children. We really wanted to welcome children into our life, and we weren't able to get pregnant. And my friends were with me throughout that journey of infertility, reminding me the joyful, fun Aimee that I had been and that I could be. So when we got the call about our twins that were being born in Arkansas, who showed up literally when I drove to Arkansas with Colin? We had nothing. We didn't even have car seats in the car. When we got home, the whole guest room was full because all my friends showed up with bassinets and diapers and onesies and blankets galore. We didn't have to buy a thing. They supplied us with everything that we needed. And there's one of my St. Cecilia friends coming just to hold the twins and to welcome them into our home. Another friend showed up to also help us welcome Ahmed and Zoe into our lives. Life is not what Instagram and social media shows you. That's the happy sides, right? And we can't compare the externals that we see in other people's life to what's going on inside ourselves. We're not seeing what's going on inside of other people when they're posting online, right? We need friends that can be with us in the Instagram-worthy moments and then the moments that we don't want anyone to see, right? I remember after college, I was so sad. I was in just a really hard place. And my friend Marianne just kept calling me, and I was avoiding her calls because I'm like, I'm so sad. She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm miserable. Who would want to talk to me right now? And when I finally got up the courage to tell her that, she said, Aimee, that's exactly when I want to talk to you, is when you're at your lowest. And she called me out of that deep pit of despair and sadness And I was also in Wisconsin and it was snowing like every day for 6 months, so I was really depressed about that. And she was able to remind me again who I was, who God was calling me to be, and to who she had witnessed me to be, as joyful and fun and up for an adventure. So we're gonna have a lot of time to answer your questions. I just wanna give you 3 points. It's really important with friendship to do really good discernment. What does that mean? That means when you're spending time with someone, pay attention to how you're feeling when you're with them. Do you feel better about yourself? Do you feel like they're calling out the best version of yourself? Do you like who you are when you're with them? Is it a safe space for you to be all of yourself with them? To entrust your sad, lonely thoughts and also the reasons for joy and celebration with them. I know you may have friends that you want to do this one activity with and that's it, and that's okay. But when we think about lifelong authentic friendship, it's going to be someone who can walk with us through the good days, the bad days, the hard days, the happy days. And discernment can help us pay attention to what's going on inside of us, that while we're with a friend can determine, is this someone that we want to be with for the long haul? It's not like you're marrying your friends. You're not making a lifelong commitment in marriage. But to make a commitment to be with someone in friendship for the rest of your life, it's going to take sacrifice. They're going to ask a lot of you. You're going to ask a lot of them. So you want to pay attention to how you're feeling when you're with them, and really to pray to God and ask for friends that can help you be the best version of yourself. Intentionality. Over time, after you leave St. Cecilia and you go on to whatever's next, college, work, jobs, you might even leave Nashville, leave Tennessee, it's going to be harder to stay in touch with friends that you're not seeing every day. And that takes intentionality. It means scheduling in time to reconnect. It might mean putting pen to paper and sending a letter in the mail, which I don't know if you all do that anymore, but it is a really fun surprise to get something handwritten to you in the mail. And there are many other ways you can stay in touch. But when you think about someone and you're grateful for that friend and something they said to you, something you did with them, tell them. Expressing gratitude, having a heart that's full of gratitude is a sign of a heart that is close to God. So if you're feeling that sense of gratitude for someone in your life, tell them. That is a little God whisper for you to turn and tell them, or send them that text message and let them know how much you appreciate their friendship. That intentionality, that reaching out when they're having a hard time, when you're having a hard time, is what makes a friendship that might last 1 year last a lifetime. And then finally, reevaluation. And we're going to get at this with a lot of the good questions that you all asked. It's okay to pause in a different season of life and to reevaluate the friendships in your life. Is this friendship still the right fit for me? And I don't want it to sound like you're just trying to be me-focused, like, is this serving me? Because God invites us to be generous with our time and to be with people who may not be able to give back and reciprocate in the same way. However, it is perfectly fine to reevaluate. Is this person asking me to be someone I'm not? Do I feel unsafe with them? Do I feel like I'm having to put on a mask or a facade when I'm with them and I can't really speak my mind? These are all things to pay attention to. If you're feeling uncomfortable, like in your body when you're with someone, that is really a great thing to pay attention to. And if you're a journaler, or maybe even if you're not, just jot down, what are you feeling when you're with that person? And it's okay to reevaluate at different points in your life, at different seasons. Is this a friendship that should continue? And so reevaluation is, I think, a free pass to ask God, to ask ourselves, to ask wise people in our life who we trust, is this the right friendship for me right now? Your circumstances will change. Your needs will change. So before we head into questions, I just want to leave you with this wise piece of advice that someone once told me, is if you're ever in a new place, maybe you're feeling like you're alone here right now at St. Cecilia. The best piece of advice someone gave me that I want to give to you is, do what you love and you will find love. You will find who To love as a friend, you will find what to love in an activity, in a vocation, and how to spend your time. But do what you love, because in doing what you love, if you love violin or if you love oil painting, do it, because in doing it, you will awaken something in you and bring forth your best self, and you will find people who are drawn to that. You will find people who share similar interests and similar values, and that is where God wants you to be, feeling alive and awakened to the gifts that have been placed in you. And so if you're finding yourself in college or in a new city and you feel alone, follow your heart to do what you love, and you will find people to love, to befriend, to walk this journey with you for the long haul. So I think now there's some students that are going to come, and we're going to have a good dialogue with some questions that you all have brought forth.
Thank you so much for your speech and your presentation. Next we have some questions submitted by the student body. So first, we have a question pertaining to those who recently arrived at SCA. I came to St. Cecilia with a lot of my friends from my old school, but now our group is changing and it feels like it's breaking up. Do you have any tips on how to handle these changes?
Yes. So first, like I said with the reevaluation piece, it's okay to break up with friends. It doesn't feel good, and you don't have to call it a friend breakup, but it could shift. The reality of that friendship might be changing because your circumstances have changed. And it's hard. I think what can help in this process is to celebrate what it has been, to hold on to the memories, to write down the gifts that you've received from that person, from that friendship, from that experience. So you're honoring it, you're reflecting on it. I really do like to journal and reflect, but you might wanna write a poem about it, paint something about it, sing a song about it. But I think processing what has been through a lens of gratitude can be really helpful for then moving on to what's next. And of course, ask for the grace to have those difficult conversations if you do have to have a conversation with a friend. But odds are they may be feeling it too, and maybe just naming it together would be helpful.
Our generation has a problem with affecting in toxic friendships. How do you know if you're in a toxic friendship, and what are some signs that a friendship is unhealthy?
Yeah, love this question. First, I'm so glad that you all are naming that friendships, some relationships can be toxic. So if you feel unsafe, and I don't just mean like physically, but that you can't fully bring your whole self, that is a sign that the friendship or relationship could be toxic. Can you be your true self? Can you be honest? Are you heard in it? Do you like yourself when you're with this person? I think those are all really good questions to ask, what you're feeling when you're with them. And what can you do? It's going to be that process of over time, and maybe even over just like physical distance, you can separate yourself. And I know if you're going to school with a person, it might be hard to physically distance yourself, but it might mean that you're doing different activities. Or maybe you used to study together during like study hall, or used to ride together, carpool together, and you make a shift there. But physical distance and time can really help. But if it's toxic, you don't want to just let it go, because it probably won't go away.
On to our next question. I think this is one that a lot of people can relate to, whether we like to admit it or not. Sometimes I get jealous when my best friend hangs out with other people. I worry that she's leaving me behind. How can I cope with that and be more confident in my friendship?
Yes. I've definitely been jealous when I felt left behind by close friends. I think it's helpful first to name that it likely has nothing to do with you. It could be something that your friend is going through. Maybe they want to explore new friendships or new activities. And so it doesn't mean that you're lacking in friendship skills. It might mean that their needs or interests are changing. And that is okay. That's hard. If you feel strong or confident enough, you can tell them and talk to them, like how you're feeling in the midst of this experience. But you'd want to find a neutral time to do it in like a neutral space. So not when tensions are high, not when you're about to go into class, but maybe ask if you could go for a walk or grab coffee or something outside of a time-constricted space to have a really open dialogue. And though it can be hard, maybe begin exploring new potential friendships for yourself with other people. Because if you have other friendships that fill that longing that you have for a deep connection, it will feel less hard if you're losing this one friend. You know, we don't have to just have one close friend. We can have a few people. Or as my husband says, when we were getting married, he's like, so tell me who your top tier friends are. I'm an extrovert, he's an introvert. And by the time I got to like 20, friend number 20, he was like, I was thinking like 3, 2 or 3, because he was trying to remember them all. And I was like, okay, sorry. So I just say that because maybe if you're losing your one close friend, it's really, really important that you kind of fill that void.
There are some unhealthy relationships sometimes, and our next question has to do with what to do in that situation. And even if your friends are close together, if they're making bad choices, what are you supposed to do to combat those choices?
Yes. So first, I think it's really important to recognize that you can love the person and not love their actions. I think that's really, really important to name. You can talk to your friends if they're making choices that you don't agree with. That can be really hard. That's very hard to do. So if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, it might mean that you just start giving them space. When they're making choices that you don't agree with, you just distance yourself from the spaces where that is happening. And you might hang out in certain contexts, but not all contexts, because you don't want to be a part of that. I think if there is a deep level of friendship and understanding that goes a long way, you can have a difficult conversation with someone and say like, I don't really agree with the decisions you're making. I love you so much. I really want to be your friend, and I feel uncomfortable because you're making these decisions. Again, expressing the love for the person and saying, I don't love or like the decisions or actions that you're making, and making that distinction.
Thank you for that. Next, as we all know, starting high school can be hard. So we were wondering if you have any advice on if someone has had bad experiences in middle school and doesn't trust people now. Sometimes that can make it hard to make friends. So how do you think that someone could change that?
Yeah, so if you've had your trust broken in friendship, it can be really hard to trust new friends. So first, naming that is so key. Second, I think this would be something great to talk to a trusted adult or counselor about if you have experiences where you were really like hurt in middle school, about that trust that you want to rebuild. I also think it's really important that you pay attention to people who seem trustworthy, genuine, open, and honest with everyone that they meet. Because odds are, if they are trustworthy, honest, treat people with respect in the classroom, in the hallway, on the sports field, they're gonna be someone that can be trustworthy in a friendship. So maybe just spend some time observing like who seems to have a gift of trust and deep respect, and start building a friendship with that person.
Thank you. So our next question, I think most of us can probably relate to this. So as you probably know, many of our students either attended Catholic middle schools, or most people end up going to like big schools like Father Ryan, JP2, or maybe public schools where other people continued in the public school system. So if most of someone's friends go to other schools and they don't really need a best friend but also want to have a friend with the SCA, do you have any tips on how to manage both?
Yes, I love this question. So I have a twin brother. He went to Father Ryan, I went to St. Cecilia. And then I went to St. Henry growing up. That's where my youth group was. And so people went to schools all over the place from there. So first, if you have a solid group of friends not at St. Cecilia, that is great. And do what you need to maintain those friendships, to nourish them outside of school. If you're someone that would really like to integrate your St. Cecilia world with those other worlds, maybe you plan something, like a pizza party or a Christmas party or your birthday party or an ice cream thing, where you bring these different friends together to meet. I know that was really helpful to me, to have friends from these different pockets of life all meet each other. And that's what life is like moving forward beyond high school, is you're gonna have like a friend from work, a couple friends from your neighborhood, some friends from the school where your kids go, and it's gonna feel very disjointed. So if you can learn how to build those practices of bringing these friends together now, that is a great life skill to have. And if you're sitting here and you don't, like, I don't have friends in other schools, that's fine too, but I would encourage you to look for opportunities outside of St. Cecilia to develop relationships with people that are in different neighborhoods, that go to different schools, do different things, because it will make you a more well-rounded person.
I completely agree. Our next question reminds me a lot about the photos that you were showing of your friends and how you were able to still hang out with them even after graduating. And this question really applies to our seniors. I'm a senior and I'm worried that I won't stay close to my friends when we go to different colleges. What do you do to keep your long-time friendships strong in college?
Yeah, so I'll mention in college and also beyond, because there is life after college as well. Being intentional about staying in touch, celebrating birthdays, celebrating accomplishments. There are so many social media platforms out there, and so I don't have to tell you like how to do that. I mentioned letter writing because I do think there's something just super like timeless about writing a letter or sending a card. What I found to be super valuable, this is practical, is visiting my friends at college, seeing their space, meeting their friends. And that sometimes was hard, you know, friends that went to school out of state, spending my like part of my Christmas break or spring break to go visit friends and to see where they were living and to see their world. That went a long way. And I had friends visit me at Notre Dame, I had a few friends visit me in France when I was studying abroad, and just having them be a part of my life there meant that they understood what I was experiencing, and that helps nourish that friendship over time. I will say that my St. Cecilia friends now, there's like 10 or 12 of us that are part of a text thread and a Marco Polo chain of like videos that developed during COVID. And that has deepened our friendship in like crazy ways. And also like we're going on a girls trip, my St. Cecilia friends, at the end of October, where we're just going to like get away without kids, without like significant others, away from our work, to detach. So being intentional in creating those times to really create new memories and not just have your like high school memories is really, really important. And then post-college, you know, being with people when things are hard. And you all have had hard things happen, but like harder things will happen, or equally hard things. And so drawing near and closer, even if it's uncomfortable during those times, will strengthen your friendship.
Okay, our next question is again about some unhealthy relationships and coping skills. So I'm beginning to realize that one of my friendships is one-sided. My friend always needs support but isn't there for me. Should I distance myself since I don't think that this friendship is healthy for me anymore, or should I talk to her? If so, what should I say if I don't want to hurt my friend's feelings?
These are great questions. So first, I would ask, like, how stable or emotionally mature is this other person? Because if they're not like in a stable place or like emotionally able to receive what you have to say, whatever you have to say is not gonna be helpful. And so if you have a deep friendship and they seem to be like solid, like in a stable place in their life right now, having a conversation could be a possibility. I would ask, like myself, does the student need professional help from an adult that might be able to help in a way that you can't? And this is something I want to say, like right now in your life, but also in college and beyond, in close friendships, in marriage, like you are never meant to be someone's like therapist in a friendship. Like if they need, they have like some serious mental health issues or addiction, you cannot solve that. They need help from someone who's been trained to do that. And so you can be a friend, but you can't solve those deeper issues. And so getting them the counseling, the therapy, that they need is the best thing you can do as a friend. Because taking that all on yourself is going to feel like a weight and a burden that you cannot carry. As far as distancing yourself, first, I think there is a call to be with people who are lost, lonely, forgotten, marginalized, bullied. Like there's a call to go and be with them and to not leave them out. And so if the relationship feels one-sided because they just can't give to you in the way you need, but you can give to them, there might be a special call for you to be extra generous in friendship to that person. And that is beautiful. If it feels one-sided, like they're just always dragging you down and you can't help them in the way they need, that is different. So I hope that distinction makes sense. Time and physical distance always helps with separation, and then having that conversation if you feel like they can handle it.
Our next question pertains a lot to us being in an all-girls school. It can be difficult to socialize with guys. And somebody noted, I actually would like to have more guy friends. Any tips on making guy friends when going to an all-girls school?
Having guy friends is so important. It's so important. So I had a twin brother, so I kind of naturally had this friend group. But I would say hang out in social spaces where guys are, where it doesn't feel like you're just trying to I don't know, there's no pressure to be dating the guys, if that makes sense. It's just we're just trying to become friends. So my high school youth group was a great space for this. I was very active in the search program through the diocese. That was a great space to get to know other guys from other schools. Playing kickball, sports leagues where you're playing something fun, that's a great space. There was a group of my guy friends and St. Cecilia friends and girlfriends that didn't go to St. Cecilia. We would meet up in the mornings for mass and breakfast at Brugger's one day a week before school. And it was just a fun social thing to do and to touch base with friends outside of St. Cecilia, during the week. So I would think about creating those social spaces outside of school where you get informal friendships with guys.
Thank you. So as many kids our age begin to search for their identities, we often have insecurities and conflict towards our friendships. So within this time of change, how can I tell if my friends like me for who I really am?
I would ask, do they respect you when you disagree with them? Are you able to be vulnerable and open with them? Is it a safe space for you to show up as all of yourself? If you choose to do something different than they do, how do they respond to that? Can you be honest with them about how you feel? And I know I'm just asking a bunch of questions in return to your question, but I think asking those questions can help you determine, is this a friendship that for people who like me completely for who I am and not who they're expecting me to be?
Our last question is, what is the most difficult situation with friends or a friend, and how do you handle that situation?
That's a big question. So I have had friends have pretty serious things. I had a friend with a pretty serious eating disorder, and I was trying to help her through it, and so I had to realize this is not up to me, especially when we were in college and not in the same city. This is not up to me to fix. Mental health, I said, that's been difficult, and so really being able to point them to a professional is super, super helpful. I've had friends that have dated or even gotten married to guys that I had concerns about, and I openly told them, I love you, I really love this person, I have concerns about your relationship with them, and I feel good being able to voice that, because then she went into the marriage or the relationship knowing that, and she respected me and thanked me for that. That was a trusted relationship. And then my last difficult reality is that there's been competition in my friendships. We're competing to be the best at this, the best in math or the best in theater, and then later in life, the best mom or the best recognition. And that is just good to recognize that is not of God. That is the enemy trying to get in to break up your friendship, and to ask for the grace to cover that. in your friendship and bring prayer into it.
Thank you.
Thank you. If anyone babysits and lives in like East Nashville, Inglewood, Donaldson, that's where we live. So it's a bit of a trek if you don't live on that side of town. Here's my contact information. We love St. Clair babysitters. So, yeah.
They are so cute.
Yeah.
The kids are so cute. Aimee, we are so grateful for you being here today. And as you're talking, here's the course that I'd really like for us to offer and add into our curriculum. It's just like the Aimee Shelide Mayor and your friends. Like if you all could come teach a course, one of the questions, and I thought this is a whole nother talk, but I would love for you to say, like to share with us Dorothy Day and all that you know about the whole Catholic Worker movement, and you're working with homeless people.
Yeah.
There's this one memory that I have of you, Aimee, when I was visiting up at Notre Dame. She's like, sister, I want you to come by and see, because we've turned this gas station into a, do you remember what it was? It was like what?
It was an auto repair shop, and we turned it into Our Lady of the Road, which was a laundromat cafe for people to get a hot breakfast and do their laundry and take showers. And it was incredible. It's a really beautiful place to.
So we have to have you come back just to talk about the whole serving people who are experiencing homelessness, and we could have your husband Colin come back too, because he's been working with that also. But we're so grateful for you coming today, and we have Megan Neeson, who is our senior class president, just to give a little gift here. This whole day. Thank you so much.